Hello, welcome back to Pulp Kitchen. We thought today what we'd do is talk about our thoughts on films that we never get a chance to do during the episode. James and I have realised that there are a lot of times during a week where we'll be on our own, wherever, and a thought will come to us about a film. We'll be thinking about a film and an opinion will come up and we'll think, but there's no time to talk about it in an episode. If you're
not relevant.
No, some opinion will pop into your head about a film from 10, 15, 20 years ago, and then it's just not relevant. But we thought today, why don't we assemble some of our loose, hot takes that we have bouncing around in our heads? We just thought we'd share them with each other.
It's quite nice to sort of sound it off with an audience, see if they come back with any agreements or disagreements.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. No rhyme or reason to it.
No rhyme or reason. We just thought, you know what? This is what I've been thinking about this film recently, and this is what I think. There we go. James, do you want to go first?
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
You do know this opinion. I have said it on the show. I think that Home Alone 3 is spectacular. And people need to get over the fact that just because Macaulay Culkin isn't in it doesn't mean it isn't brilliant. Firstly, you've got a young Scarlett Johansson in it. And when I think about the concept of Home Alone 3, I think that is hilarious, ingenious, and so much fun. Do you know about the broad premise?
Is it burglars trying to get into a house again?
Of course, but his dad accidentally takes home the wrong remote control car as a gift for his son.
Right.
These burglars have installed a very complex computer chip that's going to dominate the world, and he now has that in his remote control car. Young Alex is sick with chicken pox, and as he is sick at home, he starts noticing every single one of his neighbors' houses is being burnt into. He calls the police. It's the boys that cried wolf. No one believes him, and he says to his lucky parrot, who also talks, do you know what? If nobody's going to believe me, I'll just do it myself. And he goes out to booby trap the whole house, and it's brilliant, and it's heartwarming, and I just think people need to give it a chance. Nobody talks about it. I feel so alone on my Home Alone 3 island, and I really wish people would just lose the sort of drama about how Macaulay Culkin isn't in it, take it for what it is. It's a wonderful, warm, funny, hilarious Home Alone edition that people should watch at Christmas.
There you go.
It's
I
great.
should be timing this, seeing if you came in under 60 seconds of that take. Yeah, I mean, whatever you say. I don't know if I need to bring myself to watch it because I only really rate Home Alone 1.
Yes.
So like I rate Home Alone 1. I don't really rate Home Alone 2. Do I therefore need to see Home Alone 3?
Well, there's no pressure. You can technically come to it whenever you want.
Right.
But I really do think it's got more than people would ever give it credit for. You know what also it has? It has that, when it came out, I would have been very young. I would have been watching it, would have been very young. He had all the most amazing gadgets as toys that allowed him to do his job. So he's got this amazing remote control car that can like lift up and move around, and it's like a key tool for his like surveillance. He's got these amazing binoculars. He's got all of these little gadgets and knickknacks, which are it's like you know that child's imagination of like having all of these tools at your disposal. It's a beautiful American house with the basement and the attic and the roof. I'm like, that is so much fun. They really got playful with it. It's very, very good. And one of the burglars in there, like most of them are quite funny. There's one in particular who's really nasty and really sinister, who you really feel like at one point would just snap his neck if he could.
Wow.
And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of dark. I'm not saying Home Alone 3 is a dark film. I'm just saying there's danger, there's threat, there are stakes. Classic, like nobody believes the young kid, but he's going to go and call the police and do it himself.
Is there a famous actor who plays this burglar?
Not that we would know.
How many
No.
burglars are there?
Oh, there's like, I want to say five different burglars who are all like doing their own thing. It's very funny.
Well,
Young
thank you.
Scarlett
I
Johansson.
can't say I'm sold, but I'm like...
No, and I
now
know-
know if I encounter someone who says, don't watch any more of the Home Alones, they're rubbish, I can say, well, actually, my friend says Home Alone 3 stands the test of time. And then there are more, aren't there?
There's a 4. I don't know if they did
They did a
more.
remake recently, I'm pretty
Did
sure,
they?
like a modern reboot with like Rob Delaney in it.
Oh, wow. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak on 4. If somebody wants to come to me and say, James, actually 4 is amazing, I would hear them out. That's all I'm saying. I'd hear them out. And do you know what? We have had a couple of emails over the years of somebody who did write in and said, I'm so glad that someone else has written in about Home Alone 3. And me and my sister swear by Home Alone 3.
It's a small hill, but you'll die on it.
Yeah. You know, if we ever got asked the question like we do on Film Bites, what film is underrated? This film would be like screaming in the back of my mind because no one else has this take.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's great.
All right, okay. Well, here's mine. And I had this, I talked to you very, very briefly about this after our flight back from Utah. But I rewatched Crazy Stupid Love. Yes. You know what? Not that great. Not that great. Here's why. I will accept a great cast. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. Steve Carell, Julianne Moore, Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone, Kevin Bacon, John Carroll Lynch.
You're right.
Stacked, okay? But here's the thing. It's really strange. The whole subplot about the teenage girl being in love with Steve Carell doesn't work, doesn't age well. And like, let's just get something straight. Steve Carell, like Steve Carell, handsome in his own way. He's not John Stamos. You know, for this 17-year-old to be head over heels, erotically charged with Steve Carell, I'm a bit like, sure, but no.
It's crazy stupid love.
It's very stupid love. They never give Julianne Moore's side of the story. She just says she wants a divorce, but actually she doesn't. She just wants a conversation. But they just go with Steve Carell getting radicalized by Ryan Gosling.
By the Andrew Tate.
And so here's the thing. So the best thing by and large is Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. They're the best things. That Ryan Gosling saves that character from what is essentially an Andrew Tate type figure who's like, I'm going to tell you how to date. It's all about dressing like you've just come into a load of money and your perception of wealth is wearing a suit to every single occasion. That character in many other hands can be so obnoxious. It could be like the Tom Cruise character in Magnolia. So Ryan Gosling saves that. He's full of charm. And then with Emma Stone, when they come together, brilliant. Emma Stone has a really random subplot with like she is desperate for her boyfriend who we know nothing about to propose, and he doesn't. And I find that just like quite outdated. Yeah. Anyway, when they get together, when her and Gosling get together, it's electric. But I was just watching it thinking, this is not funny or smart or good. It's just a little bit charming with lots of famous actors in it. The subplot with the son who's in love with the babysitter, who's in love with Steve Carell, doesn't work as well. It's really, really cringe. And I'm sorry, if you hold up Crazy Stupid Love as like one of the best rom-coms of recent years, you're dead wrong. You're dead wrong. There's a reason why La La Land was an amazing film, because they took the best of Crazy Stupid Love and built a film out of it. Yeah. But the rest, no way.
Do you know what? It's weird because I do remember Crazy Stupid Love fondly, but as you explain it on paper and I start to remember the bits that I've largely forgotten, you're totally right. And, Ryan Gosling's character is totally like unrealistic and nonsensical. He just doesn't seem to ever have any friends or do anything else.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Also, Steve Carell gets to go off and sleep with 9 women. What does Julianne Moore get? She just goes, I think I made a mistake. And I'm like, no, let's give Julianne Moore's side of the story. Yeah. I want to see her film. Let's give her a baby girl film.
The poster is him, like, backed on a sofa.
Yeah, and of course, Marissa Tomei is just dripping with sexual desire for him. I mean, it's really wonky. Not good. Not good. I don't rate that film. I barely got to the end. We were coming into land on that flight, and I was like, you know what? I'm happy to miss this. Not good.
Coming in hot with the takes. Yeah, I back you with that.
Thank you.
I would be interested to hear if people come out in support of Crazy Stupid Love, and if you've seen it recently, and when you really think about it, would it work?
It doesn't. Sorry, it really doesn't.
Just put it in there in case
it's
people weren't
flawed.
My next take is that I think Hook is one of Steven Spielberg's best films. I think it's criminally underrated and underseen. When I watch Hook, firstly, like all great Steven Spielberg films, and this isn't to work against him, his 3-act structure is so clearly telegraphed, but that doesn't take anything away from what he's doing as a filmmaker. I love the way each part of this film perfectly ends and links into the next. Hook, this sounds ridiculous on paper when you say it, is the belated legacy sequel to J.M. Barrie's Peter Pan, in which Peter Pan has forgotten who he was and he has grown up and become a lawyer. And in this amazing menacing turn, Captain Hook breaks into his children's home in a haunting sequence where he slashes the windows and scores up the buildings, and he kidnaps Peter Pan's children, forcing Tinkerbell to go and get him to come back to Neverland, but he's forgotten how to fly. And the ending of Act 1 is one of the most heartbreaking scenes when his kids are dangling in a net, and Captain Hook cannot believe that Peter Pan won't go up and fly to get his kids, and he actually has a fear of heights, and he's crawling up this thing, and his children are like, please save us, and he just can't do it, and he's crying. He's like, please help us, and he's reaching out, and he cannot save his kids. And it's so good because at that moment, Peter Pan is at the lowest he has ever been. He then falls into the ocean, is dragged out by mermaids, and has to learn to get his powers back. It's a superhero movie before we did superhero movies to death, and then the Lost Boys have to haze him, teach teach him who he was. He needs to teach to fight, to fly, and to crow. And he does it. And he gets all his powers back at the end of Act 2. And Act 3 is this cathartic, amazing fight scene where Robert Williams lost loads of weight, became the fit Peter Pan again. Dustin Hoffman is incredible as Captain Hook, and he's scary. And he tries to like take his son away from him and adopt him into like his hookish ways. It's still a commentary on aging and time and death, which Peter Pan always was. Julia Roberts is amazing as Tinkerbell. Smee is hilarious. I think it's so good. And also it was nominated for set design, art direction, and all of the sets in that. The ships, the costume is all amazing. You do not see films that look like Hook anymore. They do not have the trinkets, the bits, the everything hanging down, the pirates, the swords. It's just brilliant. And people need to just get over themselves, go back and rewatch Hook. It's so good.
When you say people need to get over themselves, who's under themselves about Hook? Who's
I
going,
think people
I
are-
won't watch Hook because...
I think they'll go, oh, Hook. Oh, it's a bit like child
Naff.
coded, child naff, tacky. It's not. I promise you, it's brilliant. It has this classic thing, which is kind of like an 80s thing. His dad is too busy to go to the baseball game.
Yeah.
It's just the classic age-old thing.
done.
But Robin Williams is incredible.
Yeah, no, sure.
Julia Roberts is incredible. It's just, and again, the scene with the Lost Boys have the imaginary food fight is so inspired and colourful and playful. It captures your imagination. It's fun for kids because kids are in control and they're teaching the adults something new. It's fun for adults to go back and see someone as a fish out of water. It's so good. It is one of the best superhero movies ever made.
Thank you. So Anna loves Hook. Anna loves Hook
that's
a
why I
lot.
like her.
And actually, I should probably watch it for her. But I haven't. And you know, Spielberg can do no wrong, in my opinion. So I will check it out. I had a better thing to come in with, but you were so passionate about it.
I exuded passion for Hook.
Do you know it's the film of Spielberg's that he himself finds the most difficult to return to, and I think he's not that he's not proud of it, but I think he probably had a hard time making it. And he just doesn't. It was just before he made like the back-to-back double bill of Jurassic Park and Schindler's List, so which was really sort of like the
Came
major
back
point.
swinging.
He came back swinging. So whether or not that was a reaction to Hook, whatever, but noted. But Spielberg's made so many great films. Everyone's got the underrated Spielberg film.
And I know Spielberg has some really top films in his roster. And me saying it's one of his best, I know it's like comparing it to so many amazing things. But it's a cry out for people to just like ease off the pressure and enjoy this film. It's for the whole family. I think it's a great Christmas movie that isn't Christmassy.
Okay, a great new take. I hope you guys at home are liking this format. It's kind of quick fire. I feel like James and I, even though we're agreeing with each other, we're
like attacking you.
We're like
is
in
the problem.
trenches, like firing things over, even though we're not disagreeing.
No one's disagreeing.
You're just throwing a very lovely film thought at
I'm
me.
speaking to the world of film, but
Yes.
George is my mouthpiece and he's getting all the heat.
Look, I want to close this, if I may, with just... I want to talk about an underrated movie. A Clint Eastwood movie called Richard Jewell, which came out in 2019. Have you seen it?
No.
So Clint Eastwood, political affiliations aside, Richard Jewell is the true story of security guard Richard Jewell, who during the 1996 Atlanta Olympics foiled a bomb attack at a crowded arena by noticing what was happening and getting people out of the way. But in the subsequent investigation became the target and the scapegoat for this event and became everyone blamed him for what had happened. In this film, it's his story and his efforts to clear his name. Richard is played by Paul Walter Hauser, who many people will know now. He's in Blackbird, he's in I, Tonya, like great actor. Also supported by Sam Rockwell, Kathy Bates, John Hamm,
Olivia
Wilde. And you have John Hamm as the law enforcement element. You have Sam Rockwell as a lawyer. You have Kathy Bates as his mother. You have Olivia Wilde as a sleazy tabloid journalist. And what's so brilliant about it is that not just is it a very well acted, very well pitched thing, is that it taps into this American trope that's more prevalent in America than most other countries about cop worship, about the valorization of law enforcement. It's kind of like mythologized in America, you know, the heroic sheriff, you know, the hero detective. It's put forward in movies and TV forever. And Richard Jewell as a person, as a security guard, always wanted to be a police officer, worship law enforcement. So even when the FBI are raiding his home to look for evidence to use against him, he's so cooperative and so happy because he cannot believe the FBI want to work with him. And the lawyer on Sam Rockwell's part has to say to him, you do realize what's happening here. You're being used. You're being used as a scapegoat. And so, of all people, Clint Eastwood takes that idea of cop worship and police support and flips it and shows the toxic side of that and the sad side of that. And it's just a completely different film to what I thought it would be, and much better than I expected. And I think if people haven't seen it, go watch Richard Jewell. It's also about the obsession with the media and how Olivia Wilde's character is really menacing and just kind of cynical in the way that she uses information to build a story, regardless of not whether it's true.
Yeah.
Great stuff in there. Richard Jewell from 2019.
A nice film recommendation that I don't think people maybe have seen or heard of. I'd heard of it a couple of times, but yeah, it's not. Did it come out at an awkward time in 2019?
It
maybe
came out
it's a tough time.
Late
to release a film.
It came out late 2019, early 2020, which is kind of like in awards season, but wasn't nominated for anything.
Yeah,
and I think it got kind of squeezed out. It's one of those films as well that films that have someone's name in it are kind of awkward.
Yeah.
And I think unless it's someone famous, like I know at the moment, like Emilia Perez is getting a lot of attention, but Emilia Perez, Michael Clayton, Richard Jewell, as an audience member, I never connect to those titles.
It's like you have a lack of anything else to call your film,
Yes.
so you just went with the lead's name.
So they just went with calling it Richard Jewell, but it's a really solid film.
What about when they just do the last name, like Lincoln?
That's fine. I mean, what else are you going to call it? I mean, he was really famous.
Abraham Lincoln.
I mean, you know, I props to Darkest Hour for being called Darkest Hour, not
Yes.
Churchill. Although why didn't they just call it The Darkest Hour? Why are you dropping it off? Not a great film. I appreciate A Complete Unknown being called A Complete Unknown and not
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan, yeah. And I guess
But even if people on the way to the cinema will go, yeah, we're just going to go see the Bob Dylan movie, they actually probably won't call it A Complete Unknown.
No,
Less so.
but it's more imaginative to
Yes.
call it, you know.
Complete Unknown.
But then I also hate it when musical biopics, my least favorite genre, just slap a song title.
Bohemian Rhapsody,
Back
Rocket
to Black.
Man. Yeah.
What is that? What the Whitney Houston? I want to dance with somebody.
Yeah.
But,
Rocket Man. Yeah.
But what does that mean? Like,
what's the best one?
Elton
What's
was
the best song?
Yeah, was Elton a Rocket Man? What does
Yeah.
it mean to the themes of the story?
Yeah. Do you think, was there any chance that like it would have been called Tiny Dancer or Benny and the Jets? But they go, no, it's going to be Rocket Man because he's like a Rocket Man.
Surely they could have called it Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. But the people would be thinking it's a Wizard of Oz film.
Yeah.
Anyway, you got away with it. But anyway, those are my takes for this week.
I really enjoyed that. I thought it was quite cathartic.
Yeah, actually it is. We clearly have these stored
boiling
up.
away with
Yeah.
these things.
Let us know. It's the first time we've tried this format. If you've listened to this and you really enjoyed it, we'll do it again.
The weeks I'm now doing this thing where I'll just be on the tube, like sitting there, and I'll go, oh,
Yeah.
and I'll just go and make a note, and then I'll seethe in my own brain for the next minute thinking about my take.
But it surprised me when my brain activates with those thoughts. I could be
Anything.
I could wake up in the morning. I could be
Yes.
doing the laundry, and my brain will just like pull out something from 10 years
Not
ago.
enough people love Hook.
Yeah, or I'll go, what's Tom Hooper directing now after he did Cats? I don't think people
That's
give...
just you
Yeah.
and Tom Hooper's agent. It's you and Thomas Hooper's agent.
What is he doing?
Should we find out?
is
Let's
Tom
find out
Hooper
what Thomas
doing?
Hooper's doing next.
Because he was like 10 years ago, he was hot shit.
He's doing Cats and Dogs, a remake. Thomas Hooper.
Oh,
welcome
I
on the
feel
show.
bad. Oh my God, he's got
Nothing.
Well, no, he's done a Chevrolet advert and a Paramount Plus advert, but he has not directed. Just remember, guys, this is the guy
The King's Speech.
who directed The King's
Les
Speech,
Mis.
The Danish Girl, Les Mis, the Damned United, which is also really good, and now
Commercials.
and then
Nothing
Cats.
against commercials.
Cats has. Guess what Cats has on IMDb?
3.
It's a 2.8. That's low.
That's low. That is low.
People really did.
I've never seen it, but I wonder if in a while it might. I actually, as part of me is actually curious to watch it. I wonder if it's bad in a way that Megalopolis isn't. It might be fun to laugh at.
Yeah. God, Megalopolis.
That's terrible, wasn't it? It really was bad.
It really was quite. Every time I think about it, when we talked about The Last Showgirl, we mentioned Gia Coppola. I was like, I would watch The Last Showgirl 1,000 times over.
Every day for the rest of my life.
Also, do you not find it in The Last Showgirl a bit like roll your eyes when they get Jason Schwartzman just to come in for
do
a
a
bit,
scene, yeah.
just to get another Coppola in?
Who do you get to do any scene like that and who's in the family? Schwartzman.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he needs to do less of that, Jason Schwartzman. Why don't you be a character in a film?
Yeah.
Stop just turning up places. I'm just
watch. I know you didn't get a chance to, but in Queer, he's good in Queer.
Oh,
very
I
different.
To see that. That's one I've really missed from the end of last year that I wanted to see but haven't yet. But we'll get to it.
That was our hot takes quickfire special that we've just done. Like I said, if you like
scream into a pillow.
If you disagree or you have some different hot takes, email into hello@pulpkitchenpodcast.com.
We love hot takes. Please come in with hot takes. The hotter the better.
Yes, cooking them up in the kitchen.
Any sort of cinematic injustice, send it over our way.
As we've spoken about today, they don't have to be negative.
No, they could be positive.
Like,
both of mine were positive.
Same here.
Yeah.
Amen. All right.
Well, no, one of yours was positive.
What was mine? Oh, yeah.
It's just it's actually quite damning.
Sorry, I just got my crazy stupid laugh. That's how much I didn't like it. All right, guys. Have a great week. See you soon.
Bye-bye.